rather than in the hospital, is at home.
So he's asking, but if we, according to me, before I say what is it all about, is it correct to say it reduces hospitalization?
Yes, it's really individual care. It reduces hospitalization because this individual won't be taken care of in the hospital. Instead, he or she will be taken care of at home.
So many problems will have been reduced.
Yes.
This was the doctor.
For
So
example,
your point, yes,
it will reduce the capacity of the people in the hospital,
Patients in the
of the patients in the hospital. For example, those that are in the ward, it will reduce and create enough space.
Yeah.
Are you getting?
True. So I have that once again for that person. Let's give a thumb up like that. Any other point? I still need only 2 points before we proceed. The others you'll go and do research on your own. Yes.
It builds strong relationships.
It builds strong social relationship. Let's give up a club or a club like that. We are not going to keep a club because a club is so loud and it's going to bring a lot of disruptions in this compound. Anybody else? Final person, the last but not least person to give us a point before we continue. Somebody else? We still have one. So let me add one here. It builds strong. It encourages autonomy. Yeah, it encourages autonomy. Now let's now go to formulation of the needs and assessment. So we are now going to another learning outcome about formulation. Formulation of individual needs or individual needs. Now, before we go further on this, also, what is it all about formulating the individual needs? Before we go to individual needs, of course, individual needs we have already been able to break down here. Now, from here, what is it all about formulating? Somebody? So I want you to write something on a piece of paper. You will cross out your book like this into two. This one now you are not going to ask anybody else. I want you to keep a point here. 1 point, only one, and then you get one from a friend or from somebody next to you. You get one. Very quickly, let's go. You can just draw your line, do your own research about formulation of needs, and then you keep one. You keep one. So here, formulation of needs. Before you write all what you have here. You give one before you take one. This one you're not going to write here. But what you're going to write as your steps of giving one and taking one is all about the techniques or the steps of in formulation of needs assessment. We have the steps on the steps in formulating the needs assessment. So before we go to the steps now, can somebody just with a chorus or anybody else to give us what's all about formulating of needs? What do we mean by formulating of needs? Anybody else? Anybody there? What does it involve? You cannot just go into the steps before we know what is it all about the formulation of needs. Somebody, what's it all about? Anybody? Yes? These are methods. In fact, formulate means these are the methods. Used to identify the needs of an individual. Needs of an individual. Methods needs to. So this is all about formulation. Now, what are the steps? We have the steps. So the steps in formulating needs and assessment. You can just be able to. I'm going to group you. But before we go to our groups, let's exhaust this first, and then we will go to our groups in our next point here, our learning outcome. Now, you have to write one thing, do your own research, and give only one point, and give your friend your book. Pass your book to your friend. I hope you have, of course, I'm very sure you have ruled your book into two, like this. Whereby I'm expecting you to give 1 point here, give your friend a book to give you another point. Let's go. What have you written? Some people have not even ruled their book. Can you do it very quickly? Yeah, you do it very quickly. Write one step. The steps in formulation of needs formulation. 1 point. You give your friend a book, write it for you. And then you can also decide to keep another person to add work or return to the one, but make sure that you have been given one and one other one to be taken. You take one from your friend, you are the one to give one. Please do something. Yes, anybody who's ready, you can now read it for us what your friend has given to you. Anybody whose the book have been returned, umerudishiwa kitabu yako, you can now read it for us. And, what your friend has written. Let me know it by show back. Anybody who's ready? Petronila, you can read it for us what you wrote and what your friend has also written.
Select a tool or a data method.
You select a tool or a data method. That is one of the steps. Very correct. Any other? Very correct. We will combine all those points at long last and class for all of you. Somebody else is done now? Yes. Determine the key area. Very correct. Somebody else? You have said something? Not yet. You now say give us what you have.
Understand the target population.
Understand the target population. So, yeah, very right. One person, and then we move on. Identify the pressing need. Very well. Let's now try to clap for all of us like this now 3 times. Let's go. 2. Finally. Very well. Now, let's now go to another final. We now go to our final learning outcome and make sure that we also learn this and before the end of now. Administration. You need to highlight the administration of assessment 2. What do you mean by administer? Administration comes from what administer means
Govern something.
to
Govern something.
to
Govern.
to govern. To
Govern.
to govern. What is your point?
Put something into practice.
To do something in practice. Anybody? Anybody else? I'm trying to combine your ideas. It's making sense actually.
To give.
To give.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually to give. Eh? I'm looking for this. You too. You were saying what?
Put
To put.
something into practice.
To put it into practice, put into practice, to give, to implement, all those are answers. So you want to implement, how there are some techniques on how to implement the assessment tool into either the community or individual level at the community. We have the elements of administering assessment tools. What are the elements? What are these elements? I want us to put into our groups now as we finalize this. You can now turn to your, I can see you can make a group of 4, 2, 1. Yeah. You can come this way. You can come this way, you can come this way, you come here. I want you to make use of your thinking, make use of your discussion, and this knowledge. Discuss about it. Elements. What are these elements? What are the key, in fact, not even elements, but the key elements of assessment tools? The key elements are only one about the 5 or 6 because I can see we have 3 groups here. So each group to give us 2. And if there is any group which is ready now, you will let us know by raising up your hand. Any group which is ready? Oh, there is a group here which is ready. Let's listen. What are these key elements?
And preparation of assessment.
Early preparation of assessment. Very nice one. We'll combine with this for any other. I want 2 here. One there. I'll still come back to you. If you are ready, you give us. Anybody who is ready, I can see some brains that seriously at work now here. Anybody here? Delivery method. A method is the key. And I'll still come back to you for another point. I want only 2 here. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes, you can finalize yours here.
Purpose.
The purpose.
Yes.
Identify the
Purpose.
the purpose, whichever the English you can use, can still work. At the corner there, are you ready? Somebody to stand up or to raise up his or her hand and say something.
Consistency and standardization.
Oh,
Consistency and standardization.
once again,
Consistency and standardization.
consistency and standardization. Very correct. I'm still owing you 1 point. Yeah. Evaluation. Yeah. Very correct. Now, I feel like clapping for you now, but not yet. Just be patient. Well, who is this? Yeah, we see need 1 point there. Ethical consideration. Very important. Ethical consideration. Now, we want to finalize from there, or anybody to say something finally before we clap for you?
Can we include budget?
Yeah, we can include also, by the way, can we include budget? She is asking. You see, the main purpose of our brain now is to make them work. By all means, Can we include budget plan? Somebody to raise up his or her hand and say yes or no. And if you say no, I think that you will say no with some explanation. Anybody? Can you include budget plan? In fact, it is correct. That is all, eh? Yeah, you can include the budget plan. Now, I want us to. We are coming to the end of our lesson, but before we come to the end of our lesson, I want you write it for me in your book or in a piece of, in a book. One thing you have learned today not even one thing. I want about 3. Are you able to see here? I'm writing something which should be able to be seen by everybody. In your piece of paper or a book, I want us to review our session today by writing 3 things you know. Those should be 3. 2 things you want to know more, want to know, and finally you ask me 1 question. That piece of paper you'll give me, I should move out. So you will not move out before I should be able to see that paper. If you don't give me one, we will remain with you in this class next time. Now, I want us to take this as your assignment. You'll do this assignment. I want to give you this assignment whereby this one of the learning outcomes was supposed to meet. One that our parents also to work and handle this as an assignment. So that in our next lesson, I'll come and mark and I'll award you marks. This mark, this is very important for us because it might come up in our end exam. This one. So mentally it normally comes. So make a very good use of this assignment. Are we ready? Are we ready on what we want to know and all that? Okay. Any general question because we have come to the end of our session today? General question. So for those people whose names are not appearing in the register, you make sure that you follow me so that I can be able to make entry of your name. Guys, student guide, and we'll read in our next lesson. Those papers, please, the ones I'll ask you to. One is here. You give it to all. It's here. You give me another one. Those things that I've told you to. There is nobody with any general question. If you don't have any question, you just give me the paper and you should move out.